For today's video, I'll be sharing my advice on how to start learning Japanese for beginners and how you can better retain all the new information you're about to learn. If you're a beginner and don't know where to start, then this video will suit you. First off, let's break down what you need to know to get started, which is learning and memorizing Hiragana and Katakana. To put it simply, both are writing systems that tell us how to pronounce Japanese words. Katakana is used to spell out foreign words or foreign loan words, whereas Hiragana is used to spell out sounds that make up words that are natively Japanese. The best way to get through learning and memorizing them is to really just write it down over and over again. Personally, I started with Hiragana first and then I moved on to Katakana. After you get the hang of writing the characters, it would help if you started making actual words out of the combinations that you know, like ringo for apple, terebi for television, and even writing down your own name in katakana. Once you feel confident enough in both your hiragana and katakana, it's time to start learning some kanji. Kanji are a set of logographic characters from the Chinese script, which forms a major part of the Japanese writing system. Hiragana and katakana were focused on the sound of the word, but kanji actually focuses on the meaning. Unlike hiragana or katakana, there are thousands upon thousands of kanji characters, and while writing them and their various combinations down might seem like a good idea for others, personally, I forget all the new kanji I learn if I don't review the characters every so often. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to an app that I've been trying out lately, and if you want to learn kanji more easily and quickly, I recommend the Mochi Mochi app, which applies the spaced repetition technique. So Mochi Mochi is a kanji and Japanese vocabulary learning app that you can download off the Google Play Store and the App Store. Having used the app for 2 weeks, I can sum up my experience into 3 parts. First, Mochi Mochi is always consistent in reminding me when to review, and the review sessions don't even take long at all. One unique feature of Mochi Mochi is the use of golden time. Based on your learning history, Mochi Mochi will calculate the perfect golden time for you, which tells you when you're right about to forget the word, and it helps you review it so you can keep it in your long-term memory. Based on your learning history, Mochi Mochi would analyze golden time and remind you to review learned words through cute notifications based on the spaced repetition technique. If you don't review or practice the information you learned before, the attention rate of your knowledge will decrease. By contrast, if you review at the right times, the information will be in long-term memory, and this is a feature of Mochi Mochi that I like the most. After about 2 weeks, I learned over 300 words and have about 150 words in level 5. Honestly, my experience with Mochi Mochi has been really motivating because unlike other apps, there was a combination of not just graphics, but also how to spell the word, how to pronounce the word, and how to use the words in conversation. As somebody who was also starting out maybe 2 years ago, it would have been really convenient for me to know at the time. So number 2, Mochi Mochi divides all your learned words into 5 levels of memorization. From level 1, which is you just learned it, until level 5, which is something that will stick with you in the long term. So I know which words I've memorized and which words I haven't memorized yet. When you learn the word for the first time, it'll still be in level 1. Then after you review it, it'll be in level 2, and so on and so forth. Number 3, I really like that it also broke down all the vocabulary you know into different levels of the JLPT. And as someone who really appreciates structured learning, it helped me compartmentalize what exactly I needed to do. And I think that using Mochi Mochi as a supplement to the vocabulary lists in Genki or Mina no Nihongo is pretty beneficial for somebody starting out. I tried the N5 level and I love that it combined reading, spelling, and kanji. All in all, I enjoyed using the app, and despite Mochi Mochi partnering with me, I think I would still download and pay for the app regardless. Reviewing the past JLPT N5 vocabulary really helped me out because I remember that as a beginner, I would have a really difficult time learning how to spell the words exactly, especially with the double vowels and the pause in the middle. It became really difficult for me to determine how exactly to spell the word. So as I was able to review the JLPT N5 vocabulary, it really helped a lot. To use Mochi Mochi, simply go to the App Store, download it, and register. It took me less than 5 minutes and it was pretty seamless. So finally, here are some other tips for beginners. So when trying to remember grammar, try to remember a featured sentence that uses the grammar point. So whenever you think about that grammar point, you remember the sentence and you'll know exactly how to use it. As for reading and writing, some tips I wish I knew earlier or just when I started: read books that you've already read in English or your native language in Japanese. That way you won't really miss out on the story and you'll learn new vocabulary and grammar points along the way. For listening and speaking tips, let's tackle it one by one. So for listening, try to listen to other media that you enjoy or other topics that you enjoy in Japanese. For speaking, related to what I just said, don't just stop at listening, try shadowing. And when I say shadow, right after the character says something or somebody on the podcast says something, say it right away. It doesn't matter if it's correct or not, because the more you do it, the faster your pronunciation will be, and you'll be able to speak like a native speaker in no time. So that's all for my video today. I hope that you guys learned some new tips and tricks on how to start learning Japanese as a beginner, and I'd like to thank Mochi Mochi again for partnering with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!